This is Matthew from Prophetic Tongue, here to bring you another book recommendation. This book is, kind of hard to find. It's kind of a outdated book, but still a really good book. This is The Life of John Wesley by C.T. Winchester. Let me get you... So this book I found while I was on the road with one of my last jobs. I was at a church and I saw this and I was like, oh, I want to get this book. So I happened to find it online. I think it was eBay that I bought the book. You can still get copies of this book on eBay. I'll just read a little of the preface from the author. So this is a biography by C.T. Winchester, The Life of John Wesley. A word of justification is due from any one who presumes to add another to the already numerous lives of John Wesley. The early biographers, except Southey, and most of the later ones, have written as Methodists for Methodists. With that great religious movement of which Wesley was the leader, I have the most hearty sympathy. But I have endeavored to consider his work without narrowing denominational bias, and have emphasized certain important phases of his character that have often received comparatively little attention. Wesley was, indeed, primarily the religious reformer, but he is surely to be remembered not merely as the Methodist, but as the man, a marked and striking personality, energetic, scholarly, alive to all moral, social, and political questions, and for some 30 years probably exerting a greater influence than any other man in England. I have ventured to hope that the story of such a life told to moderate compass may still be of interest to the general reader as well as the student of religious history. And I picked a section in his book I'm starting on page 146 and going to 147. Just a little bit of part of his testimony, his walk on this earth that he saw. But for the vulgar opposition of mobs, Wesley felt, after all, very little concern, from when he expected nothing better. When a boy in his father's rectory, he had probably learned a good deal about the temper of the English lower classes, and he knew how to meet it. He was confident, moreover, that the hostility of those classes would cease as they came to appreciate his work, and that he should find among them, as he did, his warmest supporters. But it was a difficult thing to encounter the opposition, always bitter and often contemptuous, of those from whom he had a right to expect sympathy and encouragement, if not active in cooperation. For more than a score of years, the Church, blind to her great opportunity, had no sympathy for him, no recognition for his work. Her pulpits were closed to him. Her clergy regarded him with suspicion, often with the most outspoken hostility. The latest bibliography of the Wesleyan movement gives the titles of 332 anti-Methodist books and pamphlets published before 1762, and nearly all of them are by churchmen. Wow. Nor was the opposition usually reasoned and temperate. Wesley's temper and motives were willfully misinterpreted, his work misrepresented, his character vilified. Naturally conservative and order-loving, he was accused of upsetting all reverend traditions and becoming usages. Clear-headed, logical, hating enthusiasm, he was accused of spreading an irrational frenzy over the country and turning the heads of the vulgar. The most frugal and the most generous of men, he was accused of preaching the gospel for gain, and grasping the scanty contributions of the poor. Always loyal to his king and his church, he was accused of being a Jesuit, a papist in disguise, and probably an emissary of the Pretender. And these accusations came not from the ignorant and credulous populace, nor yet from the contemptuous world of fashion and licentiousness. They came from those who should have been his helpers and allies. Some of the worst of them came from bishops of his own church. His logical habit of thought, strengthened by his long training as moderator of the classes in Lincoln College, made Wesley a skillful debater. But he had no liking for controversy. He knew that there is no such foe to charity, and he knew that theological controversy is, of all kinds, the most bitter. So this biography by Winchester is a great addition to one's library, like Christian library, if you wanted to pick it up. I know it has no cover, just the side. There are options out there that does have a cover. I'll put that in the links below. But for now, I recommend this book.